my computer is out of disk space, so I may have a big problem here, but we'll see. Okay, so this is training session 2, and we just went over a review of our elevator pitch, differentiators, and now we're going to critique presentations of the problem-solving tricks and the PowerPoint on presenting your ideas. So, Vincent, you'd like to take a first cut?
Sure thing. I prepped intro to BIY.
Great. And those are the 3 PowerPoints that we use in every single class. How do we introduce Build It Yourself? What are the problem-solving tricks that we exercise? And what's the importance of, why is it important to present your ideas the way, cool way? Okay, so take it away.
The beginning. Everyone can see that, right?
Yep.
Great. Okay. Hello, guys, and welcome to the Build It Yourself Laboratory. I'm Vincent, a resident architect, artist, and designer here at BIY, and today I'm going to give you all an overview of the lab, our mission, and our team. So, Build It Yourself is looking for a few smart ladies and some hairy-chested men out there to save the world from vile villains, build mean machines, and scurrilous scoundrels who are here to make a mess. Here at BIY, our mission control, we want to use our technology, design, and most of all, our creativity to complete missions that will benefit all of mankind. Are there any brave inventors out there who can help me along in this harrowing journey?
Great. Great.
Great. To start off any mission, we're going to need a hotshot team to collaborate and guide us through the many steps of building and brainstorming. We want to get to know all of you, so we want to do some quick introductions. I'll start. You already know my name is Vincent, but my favorite DIY project is our Minecraft workshops, where we use architecture and engineering skills to build cool Minecraft worlds. My hero is Da Vinci, or Thomas Edison, but trust me, you're going to hear a lot more about Da Vinci from me in our coming classes. My hobby is painting and sculpting, as I'm a practicing visual artist. And one of my favorite quotes is, "With great power comes great responsibility." Anyone know who said that?
No, but I like that quote. With great power comes great. I bet you someone like back in the Greek days.
Well, actually, it was Spider-Man who said that.
Oh, Spider-Man, I love it.
Question.
I love it. With great power comes great responsibility. Terrific.
And I'd say my least favorite thing to do are the things in between, like chores, folding laundry, washing the dishes. It builds up and gets a little overexerting, but we can maybe make some inventions or even build some solutions to things like that in this class.
Cool.
All right. So like everywhere, our laboratory has rules and regulations that we must follow in order to work together effectively. Does anybody want to read the rules? And then I'd ask, who can volunteer to read the rule? Yeah, respect teammates. Did you share ideas, help someone, or lead your team? We want to make sure at BIY that we are group thinking and participating, as we value teamwork as one of our most important mission skills. Who don't want to read too? We also want to make sure that we respect our space, so no using your keyboards as dinner plates to eat from, okay? Take care of your tools and sort your parts.
Great.
Don't do anything foolish or dumb. Did you guys do anything you wouldn't want your parents or teacher to know? No punching your other teammates in the nose, guys. Regular things. I'm sure we'll all get along.
Great.
Now, I doubt that we'll ever have to use these, since you guys seem chill. But if it comes down to it, there are some consequences for disobeying rules of the lab. If you don't follow the rules, you have to apologize to your teammates, and there are a series of strikes. And it's like a baseball game. We'll verbally warn you first, and if your behavior consists of persistence, we might write to the director, and you may have to be kicked off the team. But remember, we don't want to do this, and we want to work with you guys. So as long as you're cool and nice, I doubt we'll ever have to visit this page again.
Great.
Now, golden rule at BIY is for dreamers and builders to explore. But anyone who destroys or says something like, "I can't," might have to get Swizzorblotz. Does anyone know what that means?
The Swizzorblotz Machine.
Right, and then I would click the Swizzorblotz machine, show the video.
Great.
Um,
Terrific.
we want to speak about extreme building, which is one of our main techniques at BIY. Multiple brains are always better than one, and we love to operate under the principle of sharing ideas. At companies like NASA and Pixar, thousands of people work together on a single project. This is the technique of extreme building, and we want to really hammer that home for you guys here at BIY. How many people do you think, off the top of your head, it took to get to the moon?
200.
What about you, Hannah?
500.
Actually, to get to the moon, there's teams of up to 36,000 people working. And for other projects like the movie The Lion King, the movie Toy Story, there were 800 to 110 teams working on just those projects. To create computer games, teams of 180 people will work, and to develop new medicine, teams of hundreds. So it's all to say that extreme building is a very valuable skill to learn. Now, I told you you'd hear about Da Vinci. Because at BIY, we also employ lab books to document our ideas, progress, and findings. Da Vinci has great lab books which he used to document artwork, inventions, and research everything from zany flying machines to beautiful paintings. We want you guys to have fun with your lab books, and while doing that, learn these valuable research skills just like Da Vinci did.
Cool.
And last but not least, at BIY, we want to make sure that you organize and sort your files effectively. And this will be a theme that we revisit and enforce throughout our missions. And we'll also reiterate these concepts more in depth in coming classes. Never leave your files on the desktop. They'll get deleted or things will get too messy and cluttered. We always want to make sure we save our files in a hierarchical folder organization with names, dates, and clear, concise organization.
Excellent.
And here are some examples of that. Make sure to dash between words, never use spaces or underscores, and make sure that your names are relevant to your project. You don't want to name a Minecraft world or a Blender file cat videos because you'll never find it again. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Who's ready to build some crazy inventions?
Cool. Excellent, 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 Vincent. Great. Hannah, any thoughts, suggestions? What did Vincent do really well? Any suggestions for ways Vincent could add to this?
Yeah, I thought it was really great. You elaborated a lot on the points on the slide. You didn't just read off of them. You kept engaging the kids, asking them questions, asking them to read, which is a good way to keep them involved and not, stop paying attention. Yeah, I thought overall it was really well.
Great. Yeah, your enthusiasm shines through, Vincent, and you come across as very playful. Those are two attributes we want to rub off on our kids: enthusiasm and playful spirit. Can you go back to let's go through the slides, just a few comments on wording. Let's go back, yeah, to the very beginning. Cool. Okay, next slide. Great. Yeah, you read this. Sometimes I ask the kids to read this. So some kids really love to show off their reading skills. So it starts to get them involved right off the get-go. Who can read this slide? Go on, next slide. Oh, sometimes on that previous slide, just this is like kids come and sit in a circle at Concord Academy. It's their first 3 minutes with us, right? They're going to make important decisions in those first 3 minutes about whether they're going to like this class or not. If they get turned off in the first 3 minutes or they think it's going to be boring, you're going to have to work really hard to get them back in. So the intro, the first slide almost sets the tone for the whole week. So sometimes I ask, are there any smart ladies in the class? Vile villain, who's a vile villain? Who knows what a scurrilous scoundrel is? Your playful spirit was terrific. The more you can sort of especially in the, in the very first couple of slides, set the tone for engaging and saying, this is not school, this is the opposite of school. Okay, next slide. Great, you handled this beautifully. You'll find a lot of kids will want to talk for 5 minutes. We can't do that if there are 10 kids. So you gotta ring the bell, have a bell that rings every 30 seconds, and just let them know got a few more seconds to finish here. And generally, 4 is a lot. I thought year 4 were very interesting, and they told a lot about who you are. So that was great, and you went by it quickly, but you'll generally have to restrict the kids here. Some kids will go on forever.
I bet.
Yeah. What do you think is a more friendly word or more opposite of school? Laws of the lab or rules of the lab?
Rules tends to be, I guess, a little less, like,
A little less formal?
yeah, but I'm trying to think of even something better, like,
Laws, you could go to jail.
right.
Rules, yeah. What about you, Hannah? Which word, this is serious, these 3 laws of the lab. We got to set the stage up front, but we want to do it in a playful way. Rules of the law of the lab, law of the lab. I'm nitpicking here, guys, but I'm doing this in the interest of emphasize the importance of setting the stage the whole week.
Could also, I wonder, like, it could be something like love your lab with an exclamation point, maybe.
Yeah.
Like ways to love your lab.
Yeah. Okay. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think making it positive.
Okay. All right. I certainly like positive thinkers better than negative thinkers, for sure. My experience here is you need a good cop and a bad cop. If you don't have a bad cop, the kids will take advantage of you quickly. So I'm inclined to say these are laws of the lab. And laws are a little bit more palatable to me than rules. I don't like anyone to make rules, but a law is there because your society has decided this is the law of the land. So it's the law of the land, the law of the lab. It's more like the way a society has to operate. Rules, I don't like rules, but laws I can accept. Does that make any sense, guys? It's a subtle distinction.
Yeah.
But, and then I notice in a lot of classrooms, they'll have 10 laws or rules to follow. I don't like 10 laws or rules. I'd rather have 3 big picture things. Be good to your teammates, be good to your laboratory, and don't do stupid stuff. And be good to your teammates means no punching anyone in the nose. Be good to your laboratory means no throwing computers out the window. And don't do stupid stuff, nothing you'd be afraid to tell your parents. That's a hard rule to live by, but I think those are 3 very decent general laws of life. And I think when parents see this, if they sit in, some parents will sit in. Actually, at the Concord Academy, I don't think they allow this, but sometimes parents online will sit in on this. And when parents see this, when they see 10 rules, it's like school. When they see 3 general purpose laws of the lab, be good to your fellow citizens, don't muck up your earth. It just, I don't know. Am I getting a message across? Okay. don't want to belabor this, but this is their first introduction to build it yourself. Want to be playful, but we also want to say it's like Spider-Man, right? With great power comes responsibility.
Right, right.
We had the power in the first 2 slides. This is the responsibility. Okay, onward.
Well,
Yep, that's good. We got all those are good, 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 good. Keep going. Yep, fine. You did all that was great. No comments. All good. All good. All good. Yeah, when that next slide should come up as a build sequence, and it's 36. When we went to the moon, there were 36,000 people employed by NASA. That's the fact.
Right.
So that's, you could argue, one of the most spectacular things humans have ever done, go to the moon. And if you want to do something important in life, like make a Pixar movie, or the movie Coco, or the most popular movie now, or you want to go to the moon, you got to know how to work on a team. That's just how it is, guys. You're not going to build a medicine in life unless you know how to work on a team. Okay, so extreme building is all about teamwork. Okay, good. I sometimes tell the story that in the old days, at General Electric or IBM, you had 100 engineers sitting in 100 cubicles with in front of 100 computers. Nowadays, when you go into the Apple and Googles of the world, you see 3 or 4 people huddled around one computer. And this is actually a concept that's studied in business schools now. Extreme building, the concept of 2 or 3 people using one computer is more efficient and more effective than 2 or 3 people on their own computer in their own cubbyhole. So it's a business school study, and it's called extreme coding, but we extend it to extreme building. Okay. Good. Lab book. Okay, good. Yeah, I tend to, because it's a lot to sit through, especially with the introductions. So I tend not to show these slides and then show them when we're ready to save.
Okay.
Do the lab book cover, then we go into the importance of naming your files appropriately.
Got it. Okay. It would be something like end with the lab book and go right into.
Okay, so now we're gonna, and when you end with the lab book, now we're gonna start building. We've been sitting here for, we have 10 kids, and each one takes a minute to do their bio. That's 10 minutes plus another 5 minutes of talking. That's 15 minutes for them to be sitting in a circle. That's a long time. So it's like Hannah was saying earlier when we were having lunch, you want to minimize the reading and the sitting and the passive time as much as possible and get them into building as quickly as possible. So building the cover of their lab book and mentioning the Da Vinci story is great. Yeah, we should show a Da Vinci lab book here. You could insert a Da Vinci lab book before this one.
Oh, sure. Okay.
A Da Vinci picture of one of Da Vinci's lab book pages. Cool. Okay. Good. Hannah, you like to connect to Zoom and?
I don't have Wi-Fi.
Oh, right. You need to go to BIY, the network BIY, and it's MakerNet, capital MAKER, capital NET, 001235. I get you there?
Yep.
Great. Okay. All right. Vincent, thank you for taking the time to, I could tell you took some time to prep that.
Oh, yeah, of course. Excuse me. Sorry, you're probably hearing a bit of construction in the background.
Okay. There are some hopefully interesting life lessons in some of these PowerPoints we do. That's the goal, is to make our PowerPoints playful, but also have real meaning. One of the reasons I'm such a big Disney Pixar fan is because the dialogue is often very thought-provoking, not only to kids, but to parents. Okay. What are the courses you're taking, Vincent, this summer?
Oh, I'm actually like working with some professors that are here.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, you told me. Right.
It's like more of an independent study type thing.
Cool.
So working with the reason I'm able to be in the startup building is I'm working with one of the eHub startups as well.
Whoa, start again. Say again.
Working with one of the eHub startups.
Oh, and what's their project?
They are building an app for kinder political discourse, and I actually had to sign an NDA, so that's all I'm supposed to say.
Okay, good. Sure. Cool.
But,
I love that. Just
then,
stop right there. I love it. You don't need to say anything more. That's such an important project, Vincent.
I know it's fun too, and of course, I'm skipping in and out of Buffalo to help out over.
Yeah, right. Cool.
When I can.
Cool. Lucky you. I'd love to hear more about that project. I get that the NDA and all.
Sure.
No, but sounds great. Go ahead, Hannah.
Okay. Hi, welcome to Build It Yourself. Anna, I am a second year at Cornell studying mechanical engineering. Here at Build It Yourself, we strive to have cool ideas, but with cool ideas, we have to have cool presentations so that we can convey ideas to others, so that they'll want to listen and they want to see what you're doing. So today we're going to talk about how to present your ideas. Looking at these.
Excuse me, Hannah. Can you hear Vincent? Can you hear?
Oh, that's much better.
Do it. Can you hear Vincent?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay. Looking at these two bags, they both cost the same price. Which one would you choose to buy?
Okay, I like the one on the right because I don't know, it looks more soulful, looks more natural.
Definitely looks more soulful, yes.
Yeah.
Personally, I like the one on the left. I like all the colors. I like the beads.
Yeah. Okay.
So, a similar situation, you have two lemonade stands. They sell the same lemonade. Which one would you rather visit?
Okay.
Maybe the one with the lights on it. It looks cool. Looks cooler.
The lights are definitely cool. And one more case. You have two books on the shelf. They both have the same information on the inside. Which one would you rather take off the shelf to read?
Cool Tricks, the purple one.
I agree. I like the bright colors, the big font. Going off of this, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover. But when you're looking at these two books, you're judging them by their covers. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, if I can stay in the library for 3 hours, I can open both books and compare the text. But I don't have 3 hours.
Yeah, very fair.
Okay.
And you have these two signs. They both convey the same information. The one on the left is green, says motion is prohibited here, which means you can't move. The one on the right is red and it says stop. Which sign do you think is more clear?
I'd say the one on the right, the red one.
Yes. And concise just means a shorter amount of words, right? So the one on the right would be more concise. And which sign do you think is more convincing? Which one would you rather stop for?
Well, I'd rather, the red makes me alert. I got to stop here. It sounds like it's really important.
Mhm. Right. So which sign would you prefer to have outside your house then to keep you safe from all the cars?
The red stop sign.
Yes. Okay. So now we're going to learn the 3 different ways you could present your ideas, right? So take out a piece of paper and draw 3 boxes. Label one ugly, one average, and one way cool, or some other really positive, fun adjective. You could choose any.
Mhm.
So let's start with the top box and just draw a bunch of scribbles in the box. This box is rather inconsistent. You're not staying in the lines. It's not really something you want to look at, right? It doesn't really pull you in. It's just you kind of want to stay away from it. And then in the second box, just take a neutral color and color it in. Stay within the lines. Don't do anything besides just color it in. This box is rather average. You stay in the lines, the box is filled in, which is great. At least it's not outside the lines. But that's kind of all you have. You just have a colored in box. Now, for the third box, you're going to take 2 colors and shade the box both of those colors. You can add a shadow in the back to make it look 3D. And now you have a box that looks way cool. It has colors, it looks 3D. You want to look at it. It actually looks cool. So when we're presenting ideas, this is what we're going to strive for. We're going to want something that is way cool. As a couple of other examples, say you're a musician. If you're a musician, you're playing guitar, and your guitar is out of tune, you would be presenting your idea in like an ugly fashion. If you were average, you would just be strumming the chords. You played the song. It's okay. It'd be way cool if you put all your soul into it and you just rock out and it sounds so cool. Another example would be with soccer. If you were just running amok on the field, going wherever, kicking the ball out of bounds, you wouldn't want to play like that. Nobody would want to play like that. If you're doing what the coach tells you, you're kicking the ball around, sooner or later, your opponents are going to find out what you're doing because you're just doing an average job. But if you really try, put your effort in there, try to score as many goals as you can, try to outmaneuver the other team, that's what you want. You want to be way cool. So when you're presenting an idea, you're going to ask yourself these 3 questions. Is your design clear, concise, and convincing? Okay?
Great. Okay. Vincent, what did you like about Hannah's presentation? Any suggestions for ways she could drive those points home?
Sure. Excuse me. Sorry. I thought that you did a great job with the examples at the end. I think the soccer and the guitar were good ways to relate the presenting ideas to activities that like kids would do or might be familiar with. I think those are good points. You did a good job speaking concisely and clearly, which is always important with these because you want to make sure, we're not just blabbering kids to death and saying like, and this is how you clearly, elaborating too much, turning them off. I think you did that well. A few points that might be helpful when you present next were the beginning slides with where you're comparing the 2 objects and sort of saying, why would you want this one, that one? One thing that I've specifically noticed when I've taught and presented these PowerPoints is that a lot of the time kids will either sort of for a joke purposefully say like, I like the one that looks bad better because, just to like joke around and, they might even persist with that even if you say something like, well, but this one's so nice. So I found that it's better to just sort of say like, oh, okay. But then at the end, sort of relate those specific examples to the bigger picture, right? To be like, yeah, and as you remember with the book with the nice cover, as you remember with the stop sign, and that I guess puts it in perspective and doesn't sort of leave them flapping in the wind of like, so why did we look at those things at the beginning again? It kind of like helps connect it for the kids a bit, because a lot of the time, you know, most of them are smart enough to know really what's going on, but some of them like to goof around and just be like, I like the crumpled bag better, you know.
Right.
Just kids are kids.
Right. Well put, Vincent. And Hannah, I ditto everything Vincent said. It flowed quickly. It was there was a playful tone in your voice, so that was good. Can we go back to the beginning of the slides? I'm going to speak a little bit again, as I did on your slides, Vincent, to the philosophy, some of the philosophy of what we're trying to get across here. So next slide. Yeah, we are trying to get across the fact that ribbons and color is really important in making sure your idea gets the attention it deserves. But I think we also don't want to pass judgment, or we want to be open. It may be the case that it's entirely appropriate to sell the bag that's all crumpled up. I mean, it may, there's a philosophy that you think when you see that crumpled up bag. And I'm not sure we want to discourage that. I have mixed feelings about this, but we want kids to explain, if you choose the right one, like you said, Vincent, many kids will do that. I tried to hook you with that. If they have a good reason for it, then you applaud them, right? So long as they have a good reason for that, that's what we want. I would make it a little more clear. There's 2 bags of candy here. Each has exactly the same candy. Each has exactly the same amount of candy. Each costs exactly the same. So it's really equal. The only difference is the cover. And then and then generally I'll do one or the second slide, the next slide. The first and the second slide are pretty much the same. However, sometimes when we're doing this slide, I'll say, yeah, it looks way cool, but that's not a good enough reason. The psychology behind this is that when you see the sign on the right, you might think, well, maybe if they spent so much time to make their sign, maybe they spent a lot of time to clean their glasses. If they didn't take much time to write their sign, maybe their lemonade is dirty. So you have to try to dig behind, what does the way you present your idea say about what the quality of your idea? I think that's a message you want to get across. They teach that in art school, no, Vincent?
Oh, definitely.
Architecture school.
They don't quite do the lemonade, but same idea.
Well, they should, in my mind. Okay. Next slide. Yeah, some of this is in the notes underneath, but in this one, I think you have to emphasize you are going down this path, but you didn't set the constraint. Your parents are parked outside and you only have 30 seconds to choose a book. That's why you don't have 3 hours to read the book. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover or a person by how they look at the bar. But sometimes, you don't have any choice. You got to make one decision, and you're going to make that because the person's not going to be there. So how you dress, it doesn't say a lot about who you really are, but it can be important in getting to who you are. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. Now these are kids, I'm not sure, this is kind of grown-up philosophy we're talking here, but I think we shouldn't treat kids like they're babies. I don't think it's unreasonable to make, that's a lot of points. We might just make one a point in each class, but just trying to give you a sense for the philosophical thinking behind these slides. They're not just out there to be way cool. There's a philosophy of life behind them. Okay, next slide. Yeah, here I would say, you live on a street where cars are driving 60 miles an hour and you don't want to get squished. Which sign would you rather have on the corner? If you don't set that stage, you're going to get squished if you don't have a good stop sign. Then it doesn't have the importance that it might have. Okay. And here you mentioned, Hannah, get a piece of paper and pencil. We used to do this. We used to do lab books with pencil and paper. Vincent, you're probably gonna not like Bill yourself after I say this, because I do really like a pencil and paper, but we are teaching technology at Build It Yourself. And at the end of the week, we want kids to present their projects online or in person via a PowerPoint lab book. So we want them to be really good at PowerPoint. And this is part of developing their PowerPoint skills. So here they use the rectangles, and when you start the lab book, you want to show them how to build this quickly. So let me share my screen and go through this real quick. So when we document this slide, we want to go to, let me just get the last PowerPoint that was up here. Okay, so now I'm on the third slide. We're doing presenting ideas. Duplicate slide, duplicate slide. And we can just say presenting ideas. Ideas. And then let's delete everything here. And then Control C, here's a box. We're gonna show them how to draw this. And then we wanna fill this in with no, actually it's better if it's white, if it's no space. If you select no color, that means you have to grab the line in order to capture it. If it's white, you can pick it here. If it's no color, you have to pick it here, the line. So once you do this, then you can do Control C, Control V. If you try to line this up, it's generally harder than if you do this. So it's that, whoops, versus this, Control C, Control V. Now, the new PowerPoints have good guidelines, so you can get that. But if you do it, it's still not perfectly lined up, right? If you do it with your keystrokes, it gets better lined up. And then, so here they're going to use the scribble tool. And then, yeah, so we're starting to teach them deeper and deeper into PowerPoint. And we want to emphasize these tools. It's not only the presenting ideas that we want to get across here. It's how to use PowerPoint.
So when presenting the slides, should you just keep going with the slides and then do this after, or do this like while?
Yeah, when you get to the finished slide, when you get to the clear, concise, and compelling, then that's when you want to, okay, so now we go into, now we're going to put this in our lab book. So presenting ideas. Sorry. At the end of each one of these, we go through this. Okay, so now we want to document this in your lab book. So, I mean, you can make this is the conclusion. And then, okay, now I've spoken for 5 minutes up to this point. Now it's time to do a 20-minute exercise. So the general lesson plan is introduce a concept for 5 minutes and then practice it for 20 minutes. That's what the lesson plans, and then do a show and tell. The critique sessions are really, really important. And to the extent you can get Vincent involved in the critique sessions, because in art school, right, the critique sessions are like everything. That's the learning time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And we want to
It's
make
like it's like the equivalent of like a lab or a test, I guess, for an engineer.
yeah, we want to make it clear that the critique is an opportunity to learn from your buddies, to show off what you know, to teach others, and to learn new tricks. Yeah, we got to present that critique session as a positive. Okay, good, guys. Anything else we need to talk about?
I guess I don't know if maybe like something that might be helpful, Hannah, when you start teaching too, is like I've noticed that there's only ever been one time there's really been a conflict that I've been teaching with students, and it was online. But one thing I found helpful is like it goes to what John said about, you know, not saying that they're kids, talking to them like they're kids. I just find that it's helpful to talk to them like we're talking right now and say, hey, dude, what's up? I heard this wasn't working out in the lab. You good? And always reiterate, like, you know, I'm not mad at you, or like, we're not trying to like make you get in trouble. We just want to know what's up. Like, you know, let us know. And I feel like that usually helps out a lot, because when they see you as like a friend versus a professor or like a teacher, it makes it like really changes up the whole dynamic, I've found.
Well put, Vincent. I really appreciate when I put the hammer down and play the bad cop, you come in and make everything better. You do that masterfully, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks.
Sometimes I either lose my patience, or sometimes I feel like, you know, someone has to put down a hammer quickly before it gets out of control. But after you put that hammer down, someone else should come by and say, just as you said, we're just, you know, all trying to get along here and work. It's hard to be both the good cop and the bad cop at the same time. People won't believe you if you try to do both. So generally, I think I've read that in parents. It usually evolves that one parent tends to be the rule setter and the other one says the opposite.
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. Vincent, I'm hoping you might have the time and interest to work on helping us schedule the summer and putting on your resume at the end of the summer that you have experience with operations, helping organize a fairly complicated set of schedules and people.
Sure. Actually, I was going to mention that might be great, because my current schedule, you know, with some of the personal stuff and then some of the other work-related things, makes me very busy in the daytime. Teaching in like evening times is like what I'm able to do, like the Blender classes, LHG. So maybe something that would be more technical or operations behind the scenes actually would work better, because it would be more fluid, that I could fit it into, integrate it into the schedule. So that's actually perfect.
Okay, all right. Let me, so we don't burn Hannah's time
Right, yeah.
here, I'm gonna can you have a look at the email I sent yesterday with a collection of schedule input? And after you had a chance to glance at that, if you could just let me know a time you're free to talk about that, how we could put that into one operations spreadsheet or one operations tool. Maybe there's a tool we can find.
Sure, okay.
We'll have 10 TAs working this summer,
Okay.
and we probably will have, over the summer, we'll probably have maybe 3 classes a day times 30 days. We'll have a couple of hundred workshops over the summer, and 10 TAs to deliver a couple of hundred. So it's not an insignificant scheduling challenge.
Right. Okay. Sure. I did. I read it yesterday. I sent like a quick response right before this.
Oh, I haven't read it yet. Yeah. Okay.
You probably missed it, but I didn't
We're out having
take that into account.
We were out having a lobster sandwich, Vincent.
Oh, I'm jealous.
While you were doing anything else, right?
I'm jealous. Actually, I'm going to go get CTB right now.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, I'll read it, and then let me get back to you. Let's try to meet for just 15 minutes.
I didn't put anything. I mainly put like a quick blurb and then my value propositions and stuff.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
It would be, yeah, probably better to meet based on what you've just mentioned about operations, scheduling, et cetera. But I'll let you go now, Hannah.
Okay. Great. All right, Vincent. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll be in Blender tonight at 7, actually.
Thank you. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, adios.
Bye now.